Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Today we're going to be looking at Lesson 2, Conversation 3. So this time we're looking at a conversation where our main character, who is very relaxed, very chilled out, he goes on a date, right? And, oh my gosh, he's too chill, right? And there's no emotion, no reaction. And he gets into this date and all these cool things, crazy things happen, and he's just like, I guess it's okay. So, how would you feel if you went to a haunted house? So, you go into a haunted house, there's all this scary stuff. How do you feel about horror and scary stuff? I think it's kind of creepy. I don't really like horror. Hi, and welcome to the chat. A few people are coming in. So, haunted houses, how do you feel? I think if things are scary in a ridiculous way where you know it's fake, I think it can be fun. But then there's a lot of horror and scary stuff out there that just, it's too much for me. Some things like ghost movies, I don't really love them because I don't believe in ghosts myself. But then a lot of horror movies get into really bloody stuff, and that's scary too. I like horror when it's just kind of stupid. If you know it's fake and crazy, stupid things happen, I think that's fun. But anything that's too serious, it's a little bit too creepy. So our main character goes to the haunted house and he's just super relaxed. Om Omitovo. But his date is freaking out. Ah, a vampire. Ah, a zombie. And he's just, whatever. He's cool as a cucumber, right? So in this situation, it actually works out. It kind of helps him. He's pretty relaxed. He's not freaked out. He can handle himself pretty well. So in this conversation, we see him going to a haunted house, and it's kind of okay, right? It's not a disaster, except at the end. He gets bitten and maybe he turns into a zombie. Ooh. I hope not. Okay. Don't like to scare yourself, especially when I have to pay for it. Yeah, I know how you mean. It's like, why am I giving someone money to make me feel bad? But there are a lot of people that they get excited and they feel alive if they feel scared. I don't really get it myself, but there are a lot of people that they love to have their heart beating. They love that scary feeling. I played a game one time where the very beginning of the game, you're walking in a building and you hear a heartbeat going ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. And after about 5 minutes, I just forget it. I'm done. It was just that little. And then I was like, I'm not in the mood for this. I need to be in the perfect mood if I want to watch something scary. But, oh well, everybody's different. But our main character here, he was totally fine with it. Vampire, who cares? Zombie, who cares? So maybe we can all get brave like him and be cool as a cucumber, right? Okay. So let's get into it. Let's start looking at our homework. So we have a bunch of different sentences, and the main idea was we start with if statements, right? If something, blah, 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 blah. We can think of it as if then, but you don't need the word then a lot of the times, right? So if something happens, blah, 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 blah happens. And then we talked about shortened if statements. Oh, someone asks you a question, and then they say, if so, blah, 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 or if not, blah, 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 right? And then we took a look at the phrase whether or not. Okay? And whether or not is very similar to if, right? If you have whether or not, it's very similar to if. Okay? And then we finished up with our dialogue where, did I miss one? No, that's it. And then we finish up with our dialogue with our Mitovo, our yoga master, our chill guy, who went to the haunted house and said, meh, I got bitten. Who cares? So let's get started with conversation 3, part 2, talking about if, right? And this is always talking about if this thing is true, then what will happen? And we're talking about the present or in the future, right? If this was true now, then this will happen. Or if this is true, then this will happen, right? Okay, so let's start, get right to it. First up is, 如果我再看到他，我会跟他要电话. Ooh, so maybe this is your friend saying this. Oh, if I see her again, then blah, 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 blah. So I would translate this to, if I see her again, I'll ask her for her phone number. Okay, so this is a possible thing. If I see her again, if this becomes true, and it is possible, right? If I see her again, I'll ask her for her phone number. I'll meaning I will. In spoken day-to-day English, remember, people don't often say I will. We shorten it to I'll. I'll ask her for her phone number, okay? So first up is if I see her again. The verb see needs to be in present tense, right? Because it could be true. If you say saw, then it's imaginary. If I saw her again, you're imagining it coming true. But this is something that could really happen, and you're thinking it might happen, right? So we use see. And then we say, I'll ask her for her phone number, like I will. Now, if you use would makes it imaginary. You don't think it's going to happen. So if you use saw, if I saw her again, I would ask her for her phone number. If you say it that way, that makes it sound like it's imaginary. It's not going to happen. You think it's not going to happen. So we want to be a little more hopeful. We think it will happen or it might happen. So we use see and will. If I see her again, I will ask her for her phone number. Okay? Now, I translate this as I'll ask her for her phone number. So I will ask her to give me her phone number because I don't know if she will give it to me, right? So this is if someone says, oh, I really like this girl. She's really pretty, but I've never spoken to her, or maybe I've only spoken to her a little bit. And so I'll ask her for her phone number. I don't know that she'll give it to me. I don't know yet, so I have to ask. So some people wrote, I'll get her phone number. Now, if you say get, that means you know she will say yes. Maybe if you're at work, you could say, I'll get her phone number, meaning it's just a business relationship and you know she will give you her phone number. But if we're talking about romance, like if it's a guy who sees a pretty girl at the supermarket, maybe he might say, ooh, next time I'll ask her for her phone number. Because maybe she'll say no, right? We don't know that he will get her phone number. Get means I'll get her phone number, meaning I know I will get it, okay? So I said I will ask her for her phone number. So ask her for her phone number, okay? You could also say I will ask for her phone number. Both are okay. You could say ask her or just ask. Both are okay. And then a few people wrote ask her number. Now, we don't really say ask her number. You usually ask for something, meaning because you usually want something. I ask for her number, and then she gives it to me. So you want that thing, so we need the word for. Ask for her number instead of ask her number. Okay? Now, next up is 如果姐姐喝太多调酒，她会发酒疯. So, oh, your sister's out of control. Too much. So, this one was a little bit tricky. There were a few common mistakes that almost everybody made. And so, as usual, it's okay to make mistakes. Making a mistake is a chance to learn something new, right? Okay. So this one I translate as, if my sister drinks too many cocktails, she gets crazy drunk. Or she gets wasted, okay? Now, one big issue, the first big issue that almost everyone wrote was, I said, if my sister drinks too many cocktails. So too many cocktails with an S. A lot of people wrote too much cocktail. Cocktail is a thing. It means one drink. So in English, if you say, in English, the word cocktail is one drink, one cup of a drink. We're counting how many drinks she had. So one cocktail, two cocktails, three cocktails, floor. You get it? Floor meaning she'll be on the floor drunk. So I would say too many cocktails. You can count a cocktail, one cocktail, two cocktails. So if my sister drinks too many cocktails, cocktail is not a big thing. So you cannot say too much cocktail. Too much cocktail sounds like there's a big bucket of cocktail and she's drinking from a bucket. But usually for cocktail, we say one cup of a cocktail, two cups of a cocktail. So too many cocktails. Okay? I also saw a few people say too much wine. Now, wine is a kind of alcohol made from grapes. So wine and cocktails are different. So here, remember, wine is made from grapes. Cocktails is a mixed drink. I think by saying wine, a lot of students will say wine, but they mean alcohol. So alcohol is, in general, beer, wine, liquor, cocktails. That's all alcohol. But remember, if you use the word wine, you're talking about alcohol made from grapes, like red wine or white wine, okay? And then I said, she gets crazy drunk. So, and then here, notice my verbs. I said, if she drinks too many cocktails, she gets crazy drunk. So, why do I use present tense? Because it's a habit. It happens again and again. Every time she does this, this happens, okay? So it happens again and again, and I'm expecting it to happen if she drinks many, many cocktails, right? So I would say she gets crazy drunk. Crazy drunk just means drunk and crazy, but you can put it together and say crazy drunk. You could also say wasted. Wasted is a word that means super drunk. Maybe like, blah. If somebody's out of control drunk, they are wasted, okay? Many people wrote, she gets drunk and acts crazy. That's totally fine. That's okay. She gets drunk and acts crazy. But you can shorten it and say she gets crazy drunk or she gets wasted. There are a million words to mean very, very drunk. So you can go on like Urban Dictionary or something and search drunk and find lots of synonyms, okay? And I said she gets crazy drunk because it's a habit. Every time she drinks too many cocktails, she gets crazy drunk. A few people used the future tense. She will. She will get crazy. That's okay, but it's predicting one time, right? But we're talking about a habit. Every time she drinks too much. Okay. So there was will be crazy, will be wasted, will be drunk. You can use the future tense. That's okay. The meaning's almost the same, but you're predicting maybe the next time she goes out drinking, okay? Instead of saying every time she does it. I also saw she acts like a fool. That's okay too. But acts like a fool means she acts stupid. While crazy drunk or drunk and crazy means maybe screaming and yelling and fighting people. So acts like a fool means acts stupid. Crazy means maybe screaming and yelling and being out of control. Okay? Next up is 如果空腹吃药你会肚子痛. So don't do this. Always make sure you have food in your belly, right? So for the English version of this sentence, I would say, if you take medicine on an empty stomach, you'll get a stomachache. Or if you take medicine on an empty stomach, you get a stomachache. So you'll get or you get. They sound almost the same, and the meaning is almost the same. So don't worry too much about the word will. So you'll get a stomachache or you get a stomachache. They're almost the same. People use them and switch them back and forth a lot. So the meaning is slightly different, but they're pretty much the same. So if you take medicine on an empty stomach. So medicine should not have an S. Medicine, usually you talk about all of medicine together. So if you take medicine, so medicine in general, we don't count medicine most of the time, okay? Unless you're talking about kinds of medicine. Like we talked about that a couple weeks ago. So words that are uncountable are usually uncountable. So don't put an S on medicine, okay? And if you take medicine on an empty stomach. So on an empty stomach is a very common phrase. So you have an empty stomach and you take medicine on an empty stomach. This is kind of, it sounds strange, right? On an empty stomach. Why are we using on? That's just the way we talk. So the common phrase is on an empty stomach. Those words go together. And you could say with an empty stomach. That's okay. But on an empty stomach is a kind of a set phrase that people will say. But if you want to use other words, it's okay too, right? Keep it simple. So I saw people write without eating anything first. Without eating anything. That's fine. That means your stomach is empty, right? Or without having some food first. That's also fine. It's the same meaning. You have an empty stomach. So both are okay. And then next up, you'll get a stomachache. Get means it happens to you. You get a stomachache, okay? So you will get or you get. Both are okay. If you say will get, we're talking about like this will happen. I'm predicting it will happen. If you say you get, it means that every time it happens. So in reality, they end up being the same meaning, but it's slightly different. You will get, I'm predicting what will happen. Or you get, I'm saying this is true, this is what happens, okay? A couple other people use have. So you will have a stomachache or you have a stomachache. That's okay, but get is a little bit better because it happens to you. You start with no stomachache and then you get it. It happens to you. Have sounds like you always have it, kind of, a little bit. Has that feeling to it. Oh, you have a stomachache. But if you get it, it means no stomachache and then zoom. Oh. Okay. And then I saw a couple of people say use the past tense. So if you took medicine on an empty stomach, you would get a stomachache. Like I said before, if you use the past tense like this, it sounds like it's an imaginary situation. You don't know if it's going to happen, but if we are predicting that it will happen, or we know it happens every time, we want to use present tense or future tense. If you take medicine on an empty stomach, you will get a stomachache, or you get, because we know it's going to happen, right? Okay. Next up is 如果找不到喜欢的人，我不会结婚. So maybe you can't find anybody and you're saying, oh, this person's okay, but I don't really like them that much. So forget it. And so you keep looking and you say, it's okay. I don't need to get married. I really want to find the right person. Maybe Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. So you just want to find the person you really like. You're not going to get married just to get married, right? So for the English version, I would say, if I can't find someone I like, I won't get married, okay? If I can't find someone I like, I won't get married. So this is a lot of people's decisions, right? A lot of people these days are like, it's okay to be single. I'll be fine. Maybe 100 years ago, people would say, no, 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 I must get married. But if I can't find someone I like, I won't get married. Okay. And so let's take a look at some of the notes. People did a really good job of this one. Not many notes to talk about. I use the word like. So if I can't find someone I like. So you can use the word like for many different emotions. Just a little bit like, or you could like them a lot, or you could really, really like them. You can just use the word like. Keep it simple. And you could also use the word love. I use the word like just because the Chinese for 喜欢 is usually like in English. Both are okay. So if you want to say stronger, so if you use the word like, you're saying, oh, I just need to like the person, then maybe I'll marry them. But if you use the word love, it needs to be stronger. If you say, if I can't find someone I love, I won't get married. So that means that's a little bit stronger of a rule. So if you say, if I can't find someone I like, I won't get married. That means you'll find someone you like, and then maybe you'll get married. If you say, I need to find someone I love, that's stronger, right? So love would be a stronger emotion than like, okay? I also saw someone use the word fancy. Fancy also works. Let's see. Sorry, I'm checking the AC. It's getting a little hot in here. Like and fancy are the same meaning. In American English, fancy is not a very common word. Like, oh, I fancy him. For British English, it might be more common, but American English, people don't use fancy very often. It sounds a little bit more formal. But you can say that. If I can't find someone I fancy, I won't get married. That's okay too. I also saw, if I was not into someone, I would not get married. That's okay too. Being into someone means you like them. So if I was not into them, if I did not like them, I won't get married, okay? And then I also saw, if I can't find true love. So if I can't find someone I like is this strong. Oh, you just need to like them. If I can't find someone I love, it's a little bit stricter of a rule. It's a harder rule. If I can't find true love, that's making a very strong rule. That means you need true love to get married. So you could write this, but it changes the meaning, changes how strong it is. If I can't find true love, I won't get married. Whoa. So you need perfect true love. A lot of people out in the world, they got married and it wasn't really true love. But that's okay. Some people just, oh, I like them, we get along well, so let's get married. If you say, I need true love, you're setting a pretty strict rule for yourself. I hope you find it, but good luck. Okay, so far, no questions right now, I don't think. Oh, can I use anyone I like? If I can't find someone I like versus if I can't find anyone I like. Yes, that would be okay. Because someone and anyone can both be used in a negative sentence, right? If I can't find someone I like, if I can't find anyone I like, that's okay. Yeah, both are okay. We learned that before, that if it's negative, you could use someone or anyone, and both are okay. So yes. Okay. Next up is part 3, our shortened if phrases, right? First up is 你有吃饱吗？如果没有，要不要再吃一点？ So this sentence I translate as, are you full? If not, want to eat some more? So 你有吃饱吗? I would often write as, are you full? Like, have you eaten enough? And then, if not, want to eat some more? So, would you like to eat some more? But you can shorten it, keep it more direct, and say want to. So, the first part, are you full? You could also say, have you had enough to eat? That's okay too. So, are you full or have you had enough to eat? You could also say, did you have enough? Or did you have enough to eat? So remember, if you use this, you need past tense. Did you have enough to eat? At least one person wrote, do you have enough to eat? If you write do you, that means right now. But we're talking about what did they already eat, so we need past tense, did. Did you have enough to eat? Okay? And then the second question starts with if not. So if you did not have enough to eat, want some more? Okay? I said want to eat some more. You could also write want some more or do you want some more? Both are okay. I also saw do you want to have more? That's okay. But you might want to add the words to eat or do you want to eat some more? Something like that. Okay? I saw would you want something more? This one, you don't need to use the word would. Using do is better. Do you want something more? Would you would be like, it's too imaginary. Like, would you sounds like you're imagining a situation, but I'm asking you right now. Do you want some more? Okay? A couple people wrote, want to get some more. So we don't want to use the word get, because if you say, do you want to get some more? I'm telling you, you can go get more food. But this sentence, it sounds more like I'm offering you more food. Would you like to eat some more or want to eat some more? And I'm going to give it to you. If you say want to get some more, maybe I'm telling you to go get food, or maybe together we can go get food together. So get means you go get food, okay? So we don't want to use that here because this one is more like I'm offering you more food, okay? You could also say, do you want to eat some more? That's okay too. So yeah, do you want to eat some more or do you want to have some more? Are both okay, but get means have the person go get it by themselves. They need to leave their seat and go get some more. And so I said, are you full? If not, blah, blah, blah. So you could also say, are you full? If you aren't, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So the verb is are, so it has to be if you aren't. So a few people wrote, if you don't or if you didn't. That would not work here unless your first sentence is, did you eat enough? If you said, did you eat enough? The response could be, if you didn't, then blah, blah, blah. Okay? Next up is, 你是傻瓜吗？如果不是，怎么会相信他？ Oh, what are you doing? So you're talking to your friend and you're like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? He's full of it. He's lying to you, blah, 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 blah. And what are you doing? Why are you listening to what he said? So in English, I would say, are you a moron? Or are you an idiot? If not, how can you believe him? Okay? Geez, Louise, come on, man. So for this, the first question, you could say, are you a moron? Are you an idiot? You could say, are you a fool? That's okay, but idiot and moron are a bit more common. Or you could use an adjective. Are you stupid? But remember, the word stupid is an adjective. Are you stupid? You cannot say, are you a stupid? Stupid cannot be a noun, okay? And then, I also saw someone write, "Are you silly?" Now, this is a common mistake in Taiwan. And that's because a lot of you, when you go to school, you learn the word silly. And then the teachers tell you, oh, the word silly means 傻傻的, right? A lot of your schools will say, oh, silly means 傻傻的. But when you hear 傻傻的, that sounds like stupid, right? But silly actually means kind of funny and goofy. Maybe you're joking around. Silly does not mean stupid. It's not the same meaning. So one time I said to my friend, oh, I like you because you're kind of silly. And my friend got angry. What? Why would you call me silly? That's so mean. It's like, what? No, I mean, you're silly because you're funny. You like to joke around. Silly does not mean stupid. So be careful about that one. Okay? So the first part is, are you a moron? Are you an idiot? Are you stupid? Are you a fool? And then I would say, if not, how can you believe him? Now here I use how, because it's like, how is it possible? Like, I don't understand. How can you believe him? Like, he's saying such silly things. In what way can you believe him? I don't understand how you can do it. Now, you could also say why. Why do you believe him? Now, the meaning is slightly different. It works. Why do you believe him? Is like, for what reason do you believe him? Explain to me, why do you believe him? Okay? So how can you believe him or why do you believe him are very similar, very slight difference, small differences, okay? So I said this as, how can you believe him? You could also say, how could you believe him? What the heck? You could also say, why did you believe him? Then, why would you believe him? Or why do you believe him? All of these are okay. Just the meaning is slightly different. How could you believe him means like, I don't understand how. Why do you believe him is, I want to know the reason why, okay? And like we said, maybe last week or a couple weeks ago, believe and trust. So a lot of people use believe, a lot of people use trust. Both of them are okay, depending on the situation. Believe him means you believe what he says. Trust him means you trust what he's doing. And like maybe you're going to listen to him and like follow what he tells you to do. So believe and trust are slightly different. In Chinese, it's the same word. So it depends on the situation, okay? I also saw a few people say believe in him. Now you want to say, how can you believe him? Believe him meaning what he's saying or something like that. But if you say believe in him, that means you believe he exists. Like, so we use believe in to talk about things that might be not real. Like, do you believe in Jesus? Some people don't know if, well, we don't know if he's real or not. So do you believe in him? Do you think he exists or not? Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think they're real or not? So believe in someone or believe in something is you're asking, is it real or is it not real? Okay? So that's what believe in something means. But here we would not use believe in because we know our friend is real, right? Okay. Next, 你今年会去美国？如果会，我推荐给你一些景点。Okay? So I would translate this as, are you going to the US this year? If so, I'll recommend a few places for you to visit. Are you going to the US this year? If so, I'll recommend a few places for you to visit. Like I said before, sometimes it's best to just keep it simple. So I said, I'll recommend a few places for you to visit. So there are many, many different ways to write this. So if yours is different than mine, it's okay. I decided to keep it simple. A lot of people, when they're speaking, will just keep it simple and say, places for you to visit. Many people said places to visit. Spots. Spots meaning places is okay. Sightseeing spots is also okay. But I would use places to visit first. Keep it simple. If you keep it simple, it's more clear. Okay? So spots, sightseeing spots are okay. A few people use attractions or must-see attractions. That's okay too, but it sounds more formal. Day-to-day speaking, we wouldn't say attractions. If you're working in sales, you could use the word attractions, but talking to your friends, I wouldn't use that word. It's a little bit more formal. So I would just say, I'll recommend some places for you to see or places for you to visit. Okay? Now the question part, the first part, are you going to the US this year? You could also say, will you go to the US this year? I saw a few people write, do you going? You can't say that. You have to say, are you going or will you go? Okay? But do does not go with the word going. Or it's not working for, it doesn't work for the future tense. We're talking about the future. We don't use the word do. We'd say, will you or are you going to? Okay? Okay. And again, the US can be written many ways. The US, USA, the States, America. But you cannot say the America. Okay? You say the United States of America or something. Okay? And then the second part, I will recommend a few places. You could say, I will recommend you some spots. That's okay. I will recommend some spots for you to visit. That's okay. I will recommend some spots you need to visit. That's okay. That's making it stronger. And remember, you need will. I will recommend because I'm going to do it. We don't want to use I recommend because I recommend means again and again and again. But we're talking about this one time. I will recommend some spots. Okay? Next up is 我觉得我今天会加班。如果加班的话，你就自己先吃饭吧。So, this is a sad thing to say. I think I need to work overtime tonight. If I do, you can eat dinner without me. So, I think I need to work overtime tonight. If I do, you can eat dinner without me. So, work overtime is our phrase, right? I need to work overtime. You could also say, I think I'll work late. I think I will work late. That's okay too. I saw a few people write late for work. I will be late for work. That's the opposite. That's in the morning. Be late for work. That happens in the morning. 你迟到了. You are late for work. But if you work late, that would be at the end of the day. Work late or work overtime. But be late for work is always in the morning, okay? Next, if I do, you can eat dinner without me. So you can eat dinner without me. You can have dinner without me. So we need the word can. You can eat dinner without me. Like, I am letting you. It's fine. You can eat dinner without me. Don't wait for me, okay? A bunch of people wrote, you just eat without me. You just have dinner without me. Stuff like that. But we want to say you can eat without me because I'm saying, hey, you don't need to wait for me. You can eat, but without me, okay? So without me, I think is the best word, the best phrase to use here. It's clear and it's saying the person is doing it without me. It's saying that I am not there. It's my fault. So you can eat dinner without me, even though I'm not there. Many people said you can eat dinner by yourself. Now, this is not wrong. It's okay. You can eat dinner by yourself. But using the phrase by yourself sounds kind of lonely and a little bit sad. So you can eat dinner by yourself. Sounds like I don't want to eat dinner with you. So you can eat dinner without me. I'm saying it's because of me. I'm sorry, it's without me. But if you say you can eat dinner by yourself, it sounds like the person is going to be sad and lonely. And maybe I'm saying, I'm not going to be there. You can eat it by yourself. I don't want to be there. So it's not wrong, but the feeling is of loneliness. It's a little bit sad sounding. And then, like we said last week, in Chinese, there's the word xian, but in English, we would not use the word first. You can eat dinner first. You can have dinner first. Those phrases, we would not use it that way in English. Like when we're going home from work, people would say, oh, 我先走了. Like in English, we would not say, I'm going home first. You would say, I'm heading out or something like that. So the first word, we don't want to add for the English phrase, okay? And like the by yourself thing, it sounds a little bit lonely. So on your own is also the same kind of feeling. You can eat on your own. They're both okay, but it sounds like they're a little bit lonely, okay? So keep going. Okay, section 4, okay? 不知道这道菜合不合你的胃口? So this one was pretty tricky because a big part of it is the Chinese has a question mark there that threw a lot of people off and said, oh, yeah, I should write it with a question mark. But this is a sentence when you're saying it to someone and you're not sure about something. You're not actually asking them a question. You're just saying, oh, I'm not sure about this. But maybe you say it with a kind of like question sound in your voice, but it's not really a question. So in English, I would not put a question mark. I'd put a period. So for this sentence, I would say, I don't know whether or not this dish is your style. Okay, I don't know whether or not this dish is your style. But if we want to change it to a question, if you want to ask the person, not just say how I feel, you could say, is this dish something you'd like? Is this dish something you'd like? Okay, so you're asking them about this dish, saying, would you like this? Okay, so big thing is it a statement or is it a question? Am I just stating how I feel, what I think? Or am I asking you a question? Am I asking you to answer me? If I'm asking you, I put a question mark. If not, just a period, okay? So here you could say, I don't know. You could also say, I wonder, or I was wondering. All three are okay. And then, I don't know whether or not. You could also say, if. I don't know if this dish, blah, 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 blah. Like we said in our lesson, whether or not and if are almost the same. Whether or not just makes it clear it's either this or not that, okay? Now, 合你的胃口, many different ways to write this one, right? So I said, I don't know whether or not this dish is your style. So your style meaning something you would like, okay? You could also say whether or not this suits you, or whether or not this is to your taste, whether or not this is okay for you. All of these are great. I also saw fits your appetite, but appetite is usually how hungry someone is, so it's a little bit different. So maybe we wouldn't use appetite there. Appetite means, are you hungry? But here we're talking about whether or not they like the flavor, like if it is their style, if it's something to their taste, okay? I also saw if it's to your liking. That's okay, but it sounds like it's a little bit formal. Oh, I don't know whether this is to your liking or not. That's okay. I also saw if you're satisfied. So satisfied means, it could mean if you're happy with this, but it usually would be after the person ate it. So oh, are you satisfied? Like, are you full? Or like, are you happy with what you ate? So it depends when you're saying the sentence, okay? Are you satisfied with the food? That would mean after they've eaten some of it, right? Okay. And then there are a couple people who wrote that started their sentence with whether or not. They said, whether or not this dish is your style, or whether or not this dish suits you. I'm not sure. Well, you need a subject and a verb, okay? So you need to start with the word I or something like that. So I don't know whether or not. If we have a sentence starting with whether or not blah, then you need a comma and another part of the sentence. You still need a subject somewhere in your sentence. So this one, if you start with whether or not, it doesn't really work. You just need the word I in there somewhere, okay? There were a couple people who did that. Let's see. Can we use suits your taste here? Yeah, that should be fine. I don't know whether or not this suits your tastes. Tastes with an S usually. Taste with no S means the taste of a thing, but your tastes with an S at the end means what you like, okay? I don't know whether or not this fits your tastes or if this suits your tastes. That's okay, yeah. Sure. So suits you is what we learned, I think, in lesson 1, right? So it's all comes back, right? Comes back around. I also saw someone say, I don't know if this meal suits you, or I don't know if this meal is your style. Now, dish and meal are both okay, but the meaning is different. Dish means one plate of food. Meal means everything. There might be more than one dish in a meal. Maybe soup, salad, entree, dessert, all those together is a meal. Okay? Next up, 我想知道我家的猫是不是听得懂人话? And I would translate this as, I want to know whether or not my family's cat can understand human speech. Okay. I want to know whether or not my family's cat can understand human speech. Okay. And again, this one, there's no question mark. A few people put a question mark, but there's no question mark on this one. Okay. I wrote this as, I want to know. Cut straight to the chase. Directly say, oh, I just want to know. I want to know whether or not blah, blah, blah. You could also say, I wonder. I wonder is like, oh, I'm imagining. I wonder, But if you say, I want to know, means more direct. I want to find out what yes or no. But wonder is, oh, I'm just thinking about it. Okay? And as I said in our lesson, the phrase is whether or not, but you don't have to have whether or not. It could be just the word whether. I want to know whether my cat can understand human speech. That's okay. But to make it more clear, people will say whether or not. And the or not could also go at the end of the sentence. That's fine too. And like we said before, you could also use if. If and whether or not are the same meaning, but whether or not makes it clear there's a yes or no question. Okay? And I said whether or not my family's cat can understand human speech. You could say my family's cat or my cat. Both are okay. Is it your family's cat or your cat? Up to you. My cat, my family's cat. Just don't say my home's cat. We said that last week. You can't say my home has something. So don't say my home's cat or my house's cat. You'd say my cat or my family's cat. And can understand. You could also say understands. I want to know whether or not my cat understands human speech. So can understand or just understands. And the last part, I said human speech. This is a phrase meaning what people say. If we're talking about animals and can they understand human speech, we can use this phrase, human speech. People wrote it many different ways, and there are many correct ways you could write this. I think the best would be human speech, but you could also say what humans say. That's fine. If my cat can understand humans, you don't need the word speech. Or you could say, if my cat can understand human language, that's okay too. If my cat can understand humans' words, that's okay, but using language or speech is a little bit better. Or if my cat can understand what people say would be okay. I saw a few people say that people said, people speaking, or things like that. You could say what people say or what humans say, but don't use the word that in here, and don't use people's speaking as a noun. It sounds a little bit too complicated. Keep it simpler. What people say. Okay? Next up is 你可以告诉我大家是不是都讨厌我吗? Oh, I hope not. Jeez Louise. So, I would say, can you tell me whether or not everyone hates me? You could also say, can you tell me whether everyone hates me or not? Like I said before, whether or not together or separate, same thing. Okay? So you're talking to your friend and you say, can you? Can you tell me? You could also say, could you? Could you tell me? Could you is a little bit more polite, right? Now, this is a question, so we say, could you or can you? Can you tell me? Could you tell me? If it's not a question, then you can say, you can tell me. You can tell me whether or not people hate me. That would be telling the person that they can tell you. But if you're asking them, please tell me, we want to make it a question. Can you tell me? So in this sentence, it's a question. I'm asking them, please tell me. So you should say, can you tell me? If you're saying, it's okay to tell me, then you can say, you can tell me, or you could tell me. Okay? So the meaning is slightly different. But if it's a request, it needs to be a question. Can you? Okay? And then I said, whether or not everyone hates me. You could also say everybody, of course, right? And then hates me is a strong word. So a few people said, whether or not everyone dislikes me. That's okay. Or whether or not everyone doesn't like me. Doesn't like me is okay too. I saw a few people say whether or not everyone don't like me. Now this should be doesn't. Everyone, even though it's many people, we treat it like it's a singular noun. Everyone. Everyone. One. Every single one. So everyone doesn't like me. Okay? It's a little bit tricky there, right? It's many, many people, but we're thinking about them one by one. So everyone doesn't like me. Okay? Don't use don't here. Okay. Next up, 不管你喜不喜欢他，我都要跟他结婚. Oh, maybe this is someone saying it to their parents. Oh, you parents, I don't care what you think. You don't like my boyfriend or you don't like my girlfriend. Oh, so here, the ta is a male. So this is probably a woman talking to her parents and saying, I don't care about what you think. So I would say, whether or not you like him, I'm going to marry him. So it doesn't matter. I don't care. Whether or not you like him, comma, I'm going to marry him. Okay? So this is whether or not. Yes or no, it doesn't matter. Whether or not you like him. So some people just went straight for being clear that I don't care. So they said, I don't care if you like him. And then some people wrote, it doesn't matter if you like him. Those are totally fine too. But you could also use whether or not to show, I don't care. Whether or not you like him, I'm going to marry him. So you could also say, I'm going to get married to him. You could do that. I'm going to marry him is more of you being active. I'm doing it. So I'm going to marry him. So get married to him is totally fine. I also saw I'm going to tie the knot with him. Tie the knot is an idiom, and it sounds a little bit more fun, like a light, fun way to say it. Oh, they're going to tie the knot. It sounds a little more happy. In this sentence is not very happy, so we don't want to use tie the knot. It is not wrong, but the tone of the sentence, the way it sounds a little bit, tie the knot doesn't fit the situation. You're telling your parents, I don't care what you think. I'm going to tie the knot, have some fun. So it's not wrong, but the feeling is a little bit lighter. Okay? So here I'd say marry him. So I said I'm going to marry him. You could also say I will marry him. Whether or not you like him, I will marry him. It's gonna happen. Okay? So I'm still marrying him. I'm still going to marry him. Those are okay. Make sure you use the future tense. I saw a few people use I still marry him, but we need future. It's going to happen, okay, or it will happen. And here, this is one sentence with a comma in the middle, right? Because it's two parts that are connected. Whether or not you like him, connected to, I'm going to marry him. So you can have it one sentence with a comma. You don't need the word and here, okay? Now, any questions? Not yet. So let's keep on moving, keep on going. Don't want to run too late. I know people want to get to bed. People have work in the morning, right? Okay, so next up is our haunted house date with our, oh, I don't care, I'm not bothered by anything, cool as a cucumber, not scared by anything. The date is shaking in her boots. That's a fun phrase, right? You can imagine the person wearing boots and their feet are shaking. They're shaking in their boots. So she's really scared. But our main character is totally chill, no big deal, cool as a cucumber. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Well, whatever. Who cares? So they go to a haunted house. Don't get scared, but maybe the guy has a bad experience. Maybe he turns into a zombie later. Hopefully not. Okay? Our first sentence is, 如果你害怕，可以尖叫啊，你不用装勇敢. So, don't worry about it. You don't need to pretend. So, using the phrases we learned, I said, if you're scared, you can scream. Ah! You don't have to put on a brave face. So, if you're scared, you can scream. So if you are scared, if this is true right now, you can scream. Don't worry about it. I'm letting you scream. Don't worry about it. You can. It's okay. You don't have to put on a brave face. So put on a brave face is maybe you're feeling scared inside of your body. Oh, but you put on a brave face. Imagine they take a mask, a brave mask, and put on a mask, and it's a brave mask. This is kind of like a poker face, right? A poker face is you're lying to someone with your face. But poker face is more like you're hiding something, right? So you don't have to put on a brave face. You're hiding. You're scared, okay? So if you're scared, you could also say if you feel scared. Totally fine. And then you could say if you are afraid or if you feel afraid. All of these are fine. Totally fine. Scared and afraid, the same meaning. There might be a slight difference in the dictionary, but day-to-day use, scared and afraid, who cares? It's the same, okay? Then you can scream. You could also say it's okay to scream. You could also say if you're scared, just scream. Let it out. Don't worry about it. Those are good. I also saw scream it out. Scream it out sounds like you have something you want to say. Like, if there are certain words. You can scream it out if you have a certain thing you want to say. Like, if you're in love with someone, you can scream it out or yell it out. I love blah, blah, blah. Okay? But here, we're just saying, in general, scream. Ah! So don't say scream it out unless they're saying a certain phrase, like certain words. Okay? And then I said, you don't have to put on a brave face. You could also say you don't need to put on a brave face. Like we've learned before, have to and need to, the same meaning, right? Okay. And I said, you don't have to put on a brave face. I saw a few people say, don't put on a brave face. If you say, don't put on a brave face, that's telling them what to do. That's a command. Now, that's a little bit stronger. You're saying, don't do it. Don't put on a brave face. But you're trying to be nice here. It's a suggestion, not a command. You're not telling them what to do, so you just want to suggest it. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to put on a brave face, okay? Now, put on a brave face is an idiom. It's a common phrase. Think of a mask that's brave, and you put it on. Now, you didn't have to use that idiom, of course, right? That was in our lesson, but you don't need to use it. Some people said, you don't need to pretend to be brave. Totally fine. You don't need to pretend you are brave. That's okay too. I saw you don't have to being brave. Now, we don't want to use being brave. Being is the way the person is acting now or in the past. He was being blah, blah, blah. But we're talking about the future. Like, you can do this. I'm letting you do it. So you could say you can be brave, but you wouldn't say you can being brave. Pretend to being brave. Just say pretend to be brave. Okay. It's getting confusing, but just here, don't put being, just use be, okay? Being is like the way a person was acting. He was being strange or something, okay? Now, let's see. Any questions? Not yet. Okay, let's keep going. Next step is, we're almost there, 2 left, so those of you still here, hold on tight. I won't keep you too much longer. Next up is, 我好奇我会不会在这里见到他. I would translate this to English as, I wonder if I'll see him here. I wonder. I wonder if I'll see him here. So you're in a place where you see a person. It's like, oh, I wonder if I'll see him here this time or next time. So there's a place and you're thinking about it and you wonder if you'll see him here in this place, okay? You could also say, I'm curious. I'm curious if I'll see him here. So you arrive at a place and you're thinking, oh, maybe it'll happen. So wonder is focusing on, I'm thinking about it. Curious is I want to know about it, okay? And then I said, if I will see him here, if I'll see him here. You could also say, I wonder if I can see him here. That's okay. The meaning is slightly different. I wonder if I can see him here. Like, if I can see him here, maybe if I have the opportunity to, if it's possible. If you say, if I could see him here, some people use could. Could makes it sound like it's imaginary. You're not sure it'll happen. But we think it might happen, so it's better to use see or can see, okay? Could see sounds like you don't think it's possible. It's kind of imaginary. Okay. Now, I use see. See just means see. Keep it simple, right? You could also use run into, meaning like if I see him, if I bump into this person, if I run into him. We learned that phrase before. And like we learned before, a few of you use meet him. Meet him sounds like you arranged a meeting. So in this sentence, we want to use see or run into someone. So you're going to a place, or you get to a place, and you're walking around, and you think maybe you will see this person. So we want to use see him, run into him. Meet him, the English meaning of meet usually means like an arranged meeting. I wonder if I can meet him here, meaning like, I wonder if it's okay to plan a meeting. Okay, so I wouldn't use meet, I'd use see or run into. Okay, and I would say here. Here meaning generally. A few people said right here. If you say right here, it means this exact spot where I am standing. But we're probably in a bigger space, maybe an office or a building, and you're walking around. And maybe you'll find him here, in this place. But if you say right here, this means in this spot where I'm standing. So it's very specific. You could say it, but in this situation, it's probably here in general. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? If you go to a big building, maybe you go to the front desk. I wonder if I can see him right here, meaning at the front desk. But if you say, if I can see him here, you mean in the building. Okay? So right here is more specific. Okay, next up. The Chinese is 不要想太多，你就随你的心意去做. And for English, I would say, don't worry about it. Just do whatever you want. Okay? Or you could say, just do whatever you like. You could also say, just go with the flow. Or just follow your heart. Okay? So there are many different ways to say this. But using a phrase from our lesson, just do whatever you want, I think is probably the best. If you want to find a lesson if you want to find a phrase in our lesson that matches this, I'd say just do whatever you want. It's fine. Go with it. It's fine. So, 不要想太多. Now, this is a very common phrase in Taiwanese Mandarin, right? People in Taiwan say this phrase all the time. And a lot of people will say, oh, don't think too much. Now, don't think too much is a phrase that people say a lot in English. And it's fine. It's okay. If you say it, I will understand it. Don't think too much. I get it. Think too much. It makes sense and it works in English, but it's not a very common phrase. So if you say, don't think too much, to an American, they understand what you mean, but it sounds a little bit not normal, like uncommon. It's not a common phrase. So I would go with don't worry about it. Okay? So this is the thing I wanted to touch on. Don't think too much is a very common phrase in Mandarin, and in Taiwan, when speaking English, people will say, don't think too much. And we get it. But in America, don't worry, I checked with my family, so I'm not going crazy. My family, I asked them, because for me, I'm used to this phrase, don't think too much. I've heard it so many times living here in Taiwan that I'm used to it. But I checked with a bunch of my family, and they're like, yeah, I get what it means, but it doesn't sound very natural. So a natural phrase would be don't worry about it. So don't think too much comes from the Chinese. In natural English, you'd say, oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal, okay? And then do whatever you want or do whatever you like, meaning do whatever you like to do. That's okay. Or just go with the flow. Just go with the flow of life. Whatever life brings to you, go with it. Go with the flow, meaning do whatever works, whatever is okay, what's fine. Just follow your heart is a little more poetic. Maybe your heart tells you you want to do something, so you follow your heart, okay? So all of these are okay. Another phrase in our text or in our dialogue was roll with it. So, hey, just roll with it, meaning if something comes to you, just roll with it. Like, don't worry too much about it. Do that thing, okay? And now, one last note is that do whatever you want. You don't need the word you here because I'm telling you what to do. I'm giving you a suggestion. I'm saying do whatever you want. I'm telling you that's what you should do. So we don't need the word you. If I'm giving a command, I'm telling you what to do, we don't need the word you. So do whatever you want. Just go with the flow, okay? Have some fun with life. Don't worry about it, okay? Life gives you lemons, make lemonade. So take what comes to you and have some fun with it, right? That's a good way to live your life. So kind of like the haunted house. You're, in a scary situation, but you can do it. You don't need to put on a brave face. Things are scary sometimes, but go with the flow. Figure it out. You'll be okay, right? Do what you like. Have some fun with life, okay? Now, let's take a look and see if there are any questions. Can I say don't overthink? Don't overthink. So don't think too much. Don't overthink. Both of these kind of the same situation. Overthink is usually used to talk about a certain situation. So if someone has a problem, you could say, oh, don't overthink it. Like, don't overthink this situation. Don't overthink this problem. Don't overthink it if we're talking about a specific thing. But this phrase in Chinese, 不要想太多, the don't think too much, is talking in general, right? If you're speaking in general, we wouldn't say don't overthink. If you're talking about one specific thing, you could say don't think too much about that. Don't overthink that situation, okay? But in general, you'd say, oh, don't worry too much, or don't worry about it, or don't worry about things, right? Okay? So, like I said, don't think too much, don't overthink it, are both okay. They're not wrong, but they're just not super common phrases. So sometimes we get influenced by Chinese and the grammar works, but it's not a super common phrase in American English with native speakers. So as long as you're understood is what's most important, right? Okay. So that's the end of our homework. Unless I missed any, I don't think I did. I'll give you guys a minute or two to write any more questions, and then we'll wrap up. And then remember, if you would like to chat with me after the stream, send a message to Kyle Moai, and I'll be here for a little while. So you can text me there, and then the first person to text me, I'll probably talk to that person first. If nobody texts me, I'll try to find one of you from in the chat and send you a message. So if you really want to chat with me today, be proactive and send a message, okay? That'll, if you really want to chat, that's great. So be proactive, right? Get out there and practice your English. So let's see, any more questions? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's right. So that phrase means if you have some difficult situation come to you in life, you can turn it into something good. Lemon juice, oh, it's too sour. Add a little sugar and some water. Oh, it's delicious. It's lemonade. So take a tough situation, turn it into something great. So if you go to a haunted house, it's scary, have some fun with it. It might be scary, but just embrace it and have some fun. Okay. So I think we'll wrap it up here. As I said before, send me a message if you want to chat for a few minutes after our stream. If nobody sends me a message, I'll come get you. Okay. So thanks everyone. Have a good night. Get to bed early. It's almost 11 already. So get some rest, study hard. And as I said before, if your answers were a little bit different than mine, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. We all need to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? Every mistake you make is a chance to get better, right? At least you're doing stuff. At least you're getting out there and trying your best, right? So good job, everybody. Whether or not your answer was perfect, you're doing a great job. So I'm really proud of all of you. Thank you for joining me so long tonight, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Go get some sleep, okay? Bye-bye.